Hip-hop listeners have grown accustomed to hearing the phrase ghostwriter applied to the penmanship of various rappers that they listen to every day. Most famously, Meek Mill engaged in a lyrical feud with superstar Drake over the accusations that Drake uses ghostwriters to assist with his lyrics in the studio. But what we're much less familiar with is the term ghost producer, probably because the producers of hit songs aren't typically recognizable and in our face like the rappers and singers that their music is made for. Ghost production can be defined as a business arrangement that involves a music producer composing a track for another producer who will then release that track under his or her own name. Generally, ghost producers will then receive their income for their work by receiving royalty payments later or an upfront flat fee. Ghost production situations don't just occur in hip-hop. These arrangements also exist in electronic dance music, R&B, pop music, and every major genre, raking in rapid residuals in mainstream entertainment. In the EDM genre, ghost production receives heavy criticism, with DJs who use ghost producers catching negative flack and being labeled as lacking in integrity. Being that EDM DJs are typically made famous for their beats, fans will understandably feel cheated by supporting a DJ whose reputation has been built upon a fraudulent foundation. But even with this sour stigma attached to EDM DJs who hire ghost producers and take all the credit for themselves, it still happens all the time. Before Martin Varwick was a celebrity, his secret was leaked that he had been a ghost producer for DVBBS, Sander Van Doorn, and a whole slew of DJ Mag Top 100 artists. Grammy-nominated British producer Matin Zahar, known as MG Matzo, even took to Twitter to throw shots at Tiesto, Diplo, and Marcus Scholes for employing anonymous beatmakers, tweeting, "Electronic music has rotten teeth that needs to be pulled. I'm just a nerd standing up to the jock who stole all the nerds' homework." Bryan Scully, an artist manager with New York Smooth Swing Management, shared his opinion on ghost producers with Billboard, stating this: "I don't have a problem with it if the person not getting credit is benefiting professionally or financially. I do have a problem with experienced artists taking advantage of young producers. A talented kid who looks up to you isn't going to say no or negotiate higher rates." You may wonder, if a ghost producer is so talented, why not make themselves famous and much richer by only doing work that bears their own name on it? Well, the ghost producer may not want to be bothered with the time, money, energy, and networking involved in building up their name to have even a fraction of the value that a super producer or DJ's name already carries. Maybe the ghost producer is older in age, has a family to support, has zero interest in traveling and DJing, or prefers to be able to go to the grocery store without being mobbed by fans. Ghost producing can also be lucrative enough for producers to be able to quit their day job and focus on their love of music, while still keeping their bills paid. They could even earn anywhere between $1,000 to $20,000 per track for an A-list EDM DJ, who may be too busy with touring demands to be stuck in a studio to make their own music. How does this arrangement generally go down, you may ask? The client normally sends over examples of the types of tracks that they're looking for, showcasing the moods, tempos, and sonic compositions that interest them. The ghost producer will then craft concept tracks and present them for feedback, with the final decisions occurring through this back and forth critique. It can also go the other way, with ghost producers reaching out to DJs' representation to offer their services. In the hip-hop genre, there are ghost producers that have remained hidden, gone uncredited, and have gotten credit for helping a super producer like DJ Khaled create hits. In fact, DJ Khaled is straight up transparent about his various recording situations, and even has praised the beatmakers in his camp during an interview with New York City's Hot 97 back in January 2016 by saying this: "I know how to program beats. I know how to produce the full thing. Now, don't get it twisted. I have a team, and I praise my team. I'm not like these other guys that hide their team. That's why I always promote and give them credits on all my records. I got Lee on the beats. I got Nasty Beatmakers. He produced All I Do Is Win with me. He grew with me from day one. I used to make beats in his garage. A producer gets the job done and makes the record come to light, and 90% of the creative process. Because on my records, I can speak for my records. It's all vibes." Just Blaze, the hitmaker who is well known for his contributions to Jay-Z and Fabulous albums, explained the ghost producing phenomenon in hip-hop while being interviewed by DJ City TV in July 2014. A lot of these guys employ people who do their music for them. They may just tweak it and touch it up, and that's one thing I've never done. It's been pushed on me a bit lately, like, yo, we can get you 5 or 6 guys, sign them under you, and you can have records out every week. That's why you notice that some of these DJs that are constantly on the road are constantly putting out music. How? Because they have guys under them that are doing it. And I'm not mad at that. That's how some of the other guys choose to cut their teeth. Cool. I'm not hating on it at all. It's just a fact of life and it is business. But I've always been one of those guys that has to be super hands-on. And everything I've produced, I actually have produced. Not every ghost producer enjoyed being in that anonymous box. California-based producer Dane Taylor has said this. A lot of people ask me, Dame, what have you worked on? And if you ask me what I've worked on, I will tell you that I produced for Akon, T-Pain, Kanye West, Neo, Sean Paul, Pitbull, Flo Rida, 3 6 Mafia, and Nelly. But if you actually look up those songs that I can tell you I produced, you won't find my name on any of those songs. A lot of times you'll be like, either he is lying or there is something that we don't know about. One of the biggest producers in history of hip-hop, Dr. Dre, has said that he's employed several ghost producers during the creation of some of his most famed audio offerings. NWA member DJ Yella co-produced all 3 NWA albums and Eazy-E's debut. Daz Dillinger, member of the Dog Pound that was featured on Dr. Dre's The Chronic album, did some work on Snoop's first album. Daz told Hip Hop DX this. I did Ain't No Fun, I did a slew of songs, I did Rat-a-Tat-Tat, I did a bunch of songs I just got credited as programmed drums, programmer, or something like that on there. It was a clobbering game back then, mine, take. Also, one of Dr. Dre's ghost producers, Chris, the Glove Taylor, has claimed to have produced Stranded on Death Row on Dr. Dre's The Chronic album and Doggy Dogg World on Snoop Dogg's Doggy Style debut. After meeting Dr. Dre in 1989, Chris the Glove Taylor found himself involved in assisting Dre with the creation of the subgenre of G-Funk. While speaking live from the basement, Chris the Glove Taylor shared this. I did have a contract with Death Row, which I signed with Godfather Entertainment as a producer. So I did do that deal and I did get some money for it. It was 20 grand. That 20 grand was for a signing bonus though, and this is in 1992. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm paid. I can work, but after you work a couple of months, 20 grand, it's time for something else, right? You see, they got tricks, man. They'll say upon release. So you can do 10 tracks and expect to get paid on 10 tracks that they keep, but only one of them gets released. So think about the time it takes for you to do 10 tracks. Chris the Glove Taylor also shared with GearSluts.com more of his ghost producing situation with Dr. Dre. I never got credited for producing Stranded on Death Row, and that's where the F-up started. I thought maybe that it was a mistake or an oversight at the time. So we go on to Snoop's album Doggy Style, and I work with Dr. Dre hand in hand for about 70% of that album. I mix more of that record than The Chronic. I produce a song called Doggy Dogg World. Dr. Dre did the beat as far as the drums, kick, snare, and hi-hat. The bass player wasn't playing it to Dre's satisfaction, so I took over and played it on the Moog. Then Dre asked me to put the keys down on it, so I did all the keyboard parts. He told me to record the beat and then he left, so I laid it all down. I also recorded Snoop's vocals. I recorded everybody but the dramatics, although I sat next to Dre when it happened. With streaming taking over physical albums that used to have liner notes and the artwork, naming the collaborators on cassettes, vinyl records, and CDs, will it become harder for ghost producers to be recognized in the future? I guess we'll have to find out. This has been a HipHopMadness original. Make sure to stay tuned and stay up to date on everything we got going on by hitting that subscribe button and notification bell. Oh, and don't forget to follow us on Instagram at HipHopMadness and join the movement.